Hey, security pros, welcome back to building AI agents in cybersecurity. Now, the last couple lessons, we've done some really cool stuff with building our first AI agent for cybersecurity and then even evolving that into an alert triage agent for EDR. But I was thinking about where I want to take this class, and the truth is, I want to continue to build agents that you can actually use in your place of work, or if you're running a business, using your business to be more secure. And I think in order to do that, it's time to upgrade our lab environment. If you remember back when we first made our lab environment, we had an Ubuntu machine, we're running Docker on it, and there we have our Wazuh infrastructure, and we've got an ADN running there as well. And then we were just kind of playing around with creating some alerts on that host Ubuntu machine. But going forward, I want to actually build something that we can create a full attack path with. So initial access, potentially privilege escalation, things like that, because I want to see if we can build an agent that builds an entire attack narrative and then can give us specific remediation advice that would stop this attack, quarantine things, essentially just give incident response guidance. So with that being said, let's jump into the architecture. Okay, so most of us are running our current lab in a hypervisor. Again, for those of you who don't know, a hypervisor is something that sits on top of your physical machine that allows you to run virtual machines. And for me, I really like running VMware Workstation Pro. And so for this demo and these labs, I'm going to be using VMware Workstation Pro for my hypervisor. And in there, we've all got our Ubuntu virtual machine. So we got Ubuntu here, and we're running Docker within that, which has got our Wazuh and our N8N as well. Okay, now what we're going to add is we're going to add a user VM that's a Windows 11 workstation. 11, and this is going to be a user with admin privileges. And then additionally, we're going to make another Ubuntu machine over here that's going to act as our web server. And this is going to be running a very vulnerable web application. And this is a good time to say, so this course is focused on building AI agents for cybersecurity. This lab is going to be relatively simple. This attack path is going to be relatively simple because the goal is we want to build an agent that will summarize this attack path and even give us an attack narrative as well. So these attacks are going to be relatively simple. We're going to try to make a lot of noise, and that way it'll give our agent enough data to deal with to see if we can make a threat hunter agent. So the next machine we're going to put up is a Kali machine, which is going to be our starting point. Okay, so what's going to happen here? First thing we're going to do is we are going to do a brute force RDP for this user admin. And then we're going to set up an SSH tunnel. And if we have time, we may set up Metasploit command and control, just trying to make as much noise as we possibly can. And then we're going to proxy through this connection, and we are going to attack this very, very vulnerable web application on port 80. This application was intentionally built vulnerable. Pretty much it just accepts commands and then it runs them. And then from there, we're going to get on this box. We're going to privilege escalate, and we're going to grab the flag in root's home folder. Okay, and in the meantime, we're going to be running a Wazuh agent here, a Wazuh agent here, and remember, we have Wazuh mapped to a port on our Ubuntu machine, and these are going to be reaching out and sending telemetry data to Wazuh so that we can build our N8N agent to talk to Wazuh and build our attack narrative. What's going to be really cool about this next agent we're going to build is we're going to try to give it a little bit more freedom when it's querying and looking for results. And in doing so, we're going to have to be really careful with the system prompt that we build. And as we do this, we might end up building several agents to handle different aspects of the threat hunt. Okay, so that is the architecture. Let's get started with the hands-on keyboard. Okay, let's get this started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to access.broadcom.com. Now, this is if you don't have a hypervisor that you want to use. I really like VMware Workstation. It just seems to be the least buggy for me. So that's kind of what I tend to lean towards. So for this one, you're going to have to go ahead and log in, create an account. It's free. Go to My Downloads, Free Software Downloads, and then we're going to search VMware Workstation. Okay, VMware Workstation Pro, and this always used to trip me up. So pick the one that you like. I think for this lab, I'm using Windows Pro 17. I'm using VMware Workstation Pro 17. So let's go ahead, jump in that. Excellent. Sometimes right here, it's going to have a little box where you have to click, I read the terms and conditions. Make sure to click that, and then you should be able to download it. I'm not going to download it because I'm running low on space as it is, and I already have it. So next thing we're going to need is Ubuntu. Now, since we've been using Ubuntu already, I'm assuming that most of you know how to install this. But if you don't, just go to ubuntu.com, download /desktop. Again, the link should be in the description. Go ahead and grab this ISO as well. Okay, for Windows, again, this link is going to be in the description. Go ahead. We want the Windows 11 disk image ISO for x65 devices. Select your multi-edition. Go ahead and confirm. And then it's going to make you select a product language. So go ahead and pick that. Okay, and then we've got our download link right here. Okay, I'm going to pause that again, running low on space. And then lastly, we want to go to Kali. Again, I'm going to put this link in the description. Go ahead and just pick your VMware, VMware VirtualBox, Hyper-V, whatever you're using, and go ahead and download the Kali image. Okay, so once that's done, let's go ahead and open up VMware or your hypervisor of choice. Now I've got a lot of stuff in here, so ignore everything that's paused, and we're going to build this lab environment from the ground up. Okay, so we're going to go to Home, create a new virtual machine, and let's go ahead and start with our Ubuntu web server. Now I will say, if you're not already using a hypervisor, you're going to have to go back to Lab 0 and redo those steps to create the Ubuntu image that has Wazuh and N8N on it. Again, it needs to be in VMware Workstation or at least accessible by these other virtual machines that we're creating. So let's go ahead and move forward. All right, go ahead and pick your installer disk image. We're going to browse. Go ahead. Got a lot of these Ubuntu ones here. Excellent. So let's go ahead and open that. Next, personalized Linux. This is going to be web server. I'm going to say username, demo. Okay. The virtual machine name, this is going to be lab. I'm going to just designate mine by YouTube. YouTube lab Ubuntu web server. Okay. And we don't need a lot. 20 gigs should be fine. I like to store mine as a single file. Okay, so let's go ahead and just start there and let that finish. Okay, while that's going, let's go ahead and do another one. Virtual machine. Next. Okay, so this one we're going to do Okay, that's Packer. Okay, I've got Windows 11 here. Next, we're going to call this something like Lab Windows 11 user. Okay, I like to keep this on only files that need support are TPM encrypted, and it's going to need to do a password. But if you do this, then VMware Workstation will remember that in the credentials manager. 64, that's fine. Again, we're going to keep that in a single file. Excellent. So let's go ahead and finish this one. Okay, let's go make our Kali box. Okay, so for Kali Linux, it's going to come as a zip file. Go ahead. We need to do show more options, 7-zip. Let's extract files and go ahead and let's put them somewhere that makes a little bit more sense. Maybe like documents, virtual machines. Okay. So we're going to extract all that. Okay, so you should find this with lots of VMDKs. Okay, and you're going to find this VMX file and just double click it. And that should pop open your Kali box pre-built. Now go ahead and let's rename it. So we follow our naming convention. Okay. Okay, here we're going to install Ubuntu. Next, 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 next. We'll just go ahead and click next, install. Default selection again. We don't have to do anything crazy with this. It's just a lab machine. Okay, so here's where we're going to create our account. And right now I'm just doing demo for everything. Demo username, demo password. Again, don't do that in production, but this is just for the lab. Okay. And we are going to actually rename this to web server. Okay, so we've got that installing. Alrighty, let's come over to Windows. So that I just clicked enter on boot the installer, and then you just have to push any key. Now Windows is a little tricky because really we only want to set up local accounts, so we're going to see if we can do that. Next, install. Next. Don't have a product key. Okay, we actually want Windows 11 Pro. Next. Accept. Okay, next. And install. Okay, we're going to let that bake for a little bit. Now, one other thing I'm going to do, this is that initial Ubuntu machine that we created. I am going to just go ahead and create a clone of this. So let's go to settings. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Let's go to manage, clone. Next, I'm going to create a full clone, and we're going to call this YouTube Lab Security Orchestrator. Okay. Now, for you guys with this lab, feel free to just continue to use that machine if you want to, or also feel free to create a clone if that's going to be easier for you. All right, let's see how these guys are doing. Restart on our Ubuntu machine. Excellent. Now, if your cursor gets stuck in the machine, it should be something like Control Alt, and that should pop it back out. So we can take a look at our 11. Excellent. Okay, so this is our Windows 11 machine. I don't want a second keyboard layout. Excellent. So this is looking good. We're going to skip. No, don't share system data. Finish. Excellent. Okay, so let's go ahead and we want to. All right. So the nice thing again about VMware Workstation is it's going to automatically install VMware tools, which is awesome. If you're using something like VirtualBox, I think there's a VirtualBox plugin you need to use so that you can get the full screen, copy paste, and things like that. And we're definitely going to want that for this lab. So make sure you at least have copy paste. Okay. Let's see what's going on with our Windows machine. Looks like it's rebooting. Let's go ahead and turn on our Kali machine, just make sure that's working. I'm going to turn on the security orchestrator. Just make sure all these are working. Excellent. Okay, we're going to call this victim user. Let's call it Win11 user. Nope. Okay, no more than 15 characters. Let's call this victim user. Okay, Kali is up. Kali's looking good. And remember, default for Kali is Kali for username and password. To log in, that's very small. I'm going to see if we can adjust some of those settings. Okay, the security orchestrator is working. Let's see if we can do another display settings. We're going to scale that up. I'm on a 4K screen, so I want you guys to be able to see this. Excellent. That looks pretty good. Let's do a sudo docker ps. Excellent. So I've got my 4 containers running here. That's exactly what I want to see. Okay. All right. So here's where it's going to get a little tricky. We're going to try it one way, and if it doesn't work, you'll probably see a cutscene, and then we're going to do it a different way. But do set up for work or school. Let's do sign-in options, domain join instead, and we're going to call this victim admin. And the password, now be very careful with this password because this is what we're going to use to brute force. I'm going to do capital A admin 1234. Whatever your password is, remember it. We need to at least add it to the password list we're going to use. And it's going to make us do this. I am just going to say do the password for all of these. Great security practice. Not really. Okay, doesn't need that, doesn't need that, doesn't need that, doesn't need that, or this. Okay, well that's updating. Excellent. Ubuntu's working well. I'm not sure why our VMware tools aren't working. It says they should be installed. Go ahead and do a sudo apt update and sudo apt upgrade. Okay, let's go ahead and let that run. Okay, while that's all running, let's switch back to our Kali box. Okay, let's do Kali. Display. Okay, so the scale I'm going to bring up to a 1.5. Let's try that. That looks better. A little bit fuzzy. Oh, there, that's better. Oops. There, that is definitely a little bit better. And then if you're on a high resolution screen, that's going to keep the resolution and make it quite a bit more readable. Okay, so now we need to install Remina. Okay, so go ahead and open up a command prompt. That is very small. Let's see what we can do about that. Okay, and we're going to need to run a sudo apt command. So go ahead and run this sudo apt update, and sudo apt install tacY remina, remina plugin RDP, remina plugin VNC, and remina plugin secret. I think we only need RDP, but you know, it doesn't hurt to get all of those. This lesson is going to have a support file on my website, so don't worry about trying to get all of the commands from the video. Go ahead and check out the website blog article for some of these. Okay, so we've got Remina. Let's just make sure that that's running. Excellent. Okay, security orchestrator. It's looking good. Let's just double check. Make sure we can hit localhost. Okay, that's good. And then you should be able to hit HTTP localhost 5678 for N8N. And that's looking good too. Let's check out our Windows machine. That one's still installing. Ubuntu here. Not sure what happened with our Ubuntu server. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just restart this. Okay, let's try this again. Sudo apt update. Then sudo apt upgrade. Excellent. Okay, so it looks like that's good, but we still don't have our OpenVM tools working. Okay, so let's try reinstalling them. All right, so we're going to run this command here. Sudo apt purge. Let's see. Sudo, come on. Purge, open VM tools, open VM tools desktop, and VMware tools star. Okay, sudo apt auto remove. Okay, let's do sudo apt install tacY open VM tools Let's start there. There we go. That's looking a lot better. Okay, now I'm also going to go to display, and we're going to scale this to 200. Excellent. Okay, so now on our Ubuntu machine, let's see, do we have git? Which git? We don't, so we need a sudo apt install git. And that'll go to the GitHub website, github.com/atlantiumai. Okay, and let's just grab this. This has got our script on it. And we're just going to do git clone. Oh, you know what? Our paste isn't working. Oh, okay, so let's go ahead and reboot this machine again. All right, let's see if we have copy and paste now. We do have paste. Excellent. Okay, so let's do a git clone. We're going to clone this repository. And then go ahead and cd into it. And now we've got this server called vulnerableserver.sh. I did not chmod it, so we're going to do chmod +x vulnerableserver.sh. It should be green now. Now we're just going to go ahead and run that command. Let that install. Let's see how our Windows box is doing. Still installing. Excellent. Okay, so let's go on to Firefox. See. Excellent. So this website takes a parameter called cmd, and it will execute any command that we give it. Extremely vulnerable. Okay. Excellent. So our Ubuntu web server should be set up now, and let's go ahead and we're just going to wait for the rest of this Windows server to set up. All right, we are finished installing. Let's go ahead and log in. All right, excellent. So now that we're in and up, let's go ahead and click this I finished installing, which is behind my head here. There we go. I finished installing, and we should get a pop-up. Okay, so since that didn't show up, go ahead and come up here to VM, and let's do install VM tools. Okay, and it wants us, there we go. There's our pop-up. Let's go ahead and run this setup 64. Click yes. Next, typical is fine. Great, that's looking good. Let's go ahead and finish. It says we are going to need to restart, so let's go ahead and restart. Okay, now I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for us. Excellent. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to enable remote desktop. Okay, so we're going to go to settings, RDP, remote desktop settings. Okay, and we need to turn this on. Okay, so now we need to go to remote desktop users. It says victim admin already has access, but I'm just going to add him as well. And click OK. Excellent. So now we've set up RDP. And that is all we need to do for the host configuration here. So the last thing we need to do is our network configuration. So we need to turn off all of these machines. So just power, shut down, power, shut down, power, shut down, and power, shut down. Then for each one of these machines, click on them, click Edit the Virtual Machine Settings. And now we need to add another network adapter. So this is how our network architecture is going to work, is we're going to have one network adapter that is NAT, network address translation, and that's for if our machine needs to go out, reach out and grab something from the internet. And then the other one we're going to have is host only. So what does that mean is that these machines won't be able to talk to anything outside of the host. Since this is a lab, we really don't want any external machines talking to these virtual machines since we're intentionally making them vulnerable. So go ahead and click Add. We're going to click a network adapter. And for the first one, we're going to do Custom. And we're going to do, our first one's going to be VMnet1 host only. And our second one's going to be Custom VMnet8 for NAT. Now, if you're using VirtualBox or something else, you're going to have to look into those settings for how you can create one with a NAT network adapter and one with a host-only network adapter. So you're just going to have to consult the documentation for that one. Okay, we're going to click OK on that. Next, we're going to do it again. Add a network adapter. Custom VMnet1, VMnet8. Okay. Oops. Let's do edit. All right, now let's just double check real quick, make sure that these look good. Okay, VMnet1, VMnet8, VMnet1, 8, and 1 and 8. Okay, this looks great. This is a great place to start. So now we're gonna just double check connectivity. So let's go ahead and power all these on again. All right, now open up a terminal. This is on our Kali box here. And let's do an ifconfig. Excellent. So we've got our 192.168.91.164. Excellent. So basically what we want to see is we want to see a 192.168.71 and a 91. Or if you created your own networks, one should be your NAT1, one should be your host only. So that looks great. Let's just double check on the security orchestrator. Okay, let's just double check. And for these, we're going to do IP adder. Okay, so this is on your security orchestrator, you're going to have a lot of different virtual network interface cards, and that's because of Docker and all of the other ones that we have, all the containers that we have running. So we just want to scroll through this real quick to look for Okay, so we've got, here we go, 192.168.71 and 192.168.91. Excellent. Okay, let's just double check our windows here real quick. So in Windows, we're going to do CMD. Let's just run ipconfig. Okay, here we go. We've got our 7.1 and we've got our 9.1. Excellent. And the last thing we're going to do is on this Ubuntu server, first of all, we're going to make the screen a little bigger. Okay. And IP adder. Okay, and once again, we're looking for 192.168.71, and we're looking for 192.168.91. Excellent. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this has been great. I know these aren't the funnest lessons we have, but it is going to enable us to do some cool things in the future. If you have any issues, go ahead and drop a comment in the video, and I'll do my best to help you out and help you troubleshoot. With that being said, thanks guys. I'm Ben from Atlantium AI, and I will see you in the next one.